Can you tell me about any highlights of your career through the military and in the space industry? What are some of the highlights that you've had?
Well, I guess in 1997 I won the Engineer Literary Award for research. I worked for the Center for Devices and Radiological Health. I worked for the government, between industry, academia, and government for doing research and power quality and electromagnetic interference. I've had the privilege of working with Raytheon, for example, and developing a ship self-defense system, Mark II, which can take on incoming 200 targets and identify, track, and engage them without any human intervention. I've had the privilege of working on submarine systems, designing, tuning magnetics. I've had many highlights. I've had the privilege of actually being part of the acquisition of Hughes Aircraft Company, Defense Systems segment by Raytheon, as a forward team. I came and essentially upgraded the technology and brought it back to Rhode Island into production. That was a huge highlight. I've had the privilege of working with Vitesse Semiconductor to design their first 6 million gate ASIC, application-specific integrated circuit ASICs, and some other products. I've had the privilege of working with building a complete laboratory from the sand at New Mexico Tech in Socorro, New Mexico. Radiation laboratory, which was very successful, published many papers, and really enhanced the ability to test semiconductors to radiation. I've had the privilege of being selected for the Neutron School at Los Alamos, which they select 30 people every year from around the world. And I was selected in 2009 and trained at Los Alamos for 10 days in neutrons. Actually, I did work with them for about 6 years prior with doing radiation testing there. And so I've had the privilege of starting my own company and more or less, working freelance for other people, on a contract basis, competed and won against larger companies for radiation support contracts, and also, having some inventions and classified stuff, and developing new technology in lasers, and working on satellite systems. So I've had a blast as an engineer, and I've been an engineer for 20 years, since 1991. Graduated from University of Miami, master's at Drexel University, PhD work at Howard University, George Washington University, and PhD in materials engineering at New Mexico Tech. So I've had the privilege of designing a lot of new and novel technologies, and our motto is space on Earth, and really it should also be tomorrow's technologies today. In the medical field, I've had some inventions in that area that can make human life a lot better, reduce the cost of healthcare, for example. So I'm really always excited about new technology, not just new technology, but technology that actually solves a problem and can be done quickly without a huge amount of VC funding. I should need $10 million to get started. And so there are plenty of examples like that, which show themselves, is that you don't need $20 billion to get started with something. Like the M&M people and how they started. They did something they liked, and then they sold it to their neighbor. They asked them if they liked it, and then, so there's a lot of grassroots efforts that you can do to have technology implemented versus necessarily going the VC route. And so, yeah, we're not that type of company where, and I guess Mueller really isn't that way either. That's why some of his technologies probably didn't make it out yet, but we have a different approach. And so we look at a combination of government research funding, for educational purposes, as well as people who have specific needs in the application of the craft. So there are different ways to do things, yeah.